Hey all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, consider subscribing my channel and hit on the notification bell also. Also, I want to tell you something important today. So, arrays is very important topic in System Verilog. So, I have created a separate playlist for all the arrays in System Verilog. Okay, I'll link that in the description box. If you are interested, you can go check all the arrays. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to discuss about something which is very important and also interesting in System Verilog, and this is the topic which is not there in Verilog, because if you see in System Verilog we are told that we are having many more data types compared to that of Verilog. Is it or not? Like we have discussed about logic or byte or int, short int, long int, float, so or string. So all these data types are in System Verilog which are not there in Verilog. Okay, so the topic that we are going to discuss today will also come under this category, which is enumeration. Okay, we'll call it as enum. Okay, so enum is a special data type in System Verilog. Okay, so we are going to talk about what is this enum and why we have introduced this enum data type in System Verilog and what are its uses. So we'll be going to discuss about all the things about enum in this session, right? So enum, as I told you, it is a special data type in System Verilog. Okay, an enumerated type defines a set of named values. So basically, okay, in order to put it in a simple way for you, okay, for example, if we are taking some data type named int, okay, now int a. Now, if you see here, this a is of integer data type. Now, what values it can hold? It can hold only numbers. Is it or not? Only integers. For example, if you are taking string by string some bit, okay, like this you are taking. So, string is the data type and bit is your variable. Now, what the bit can hold? It can hold only names like some rows or else some lily. So like this it can hold only names. Is it or not? So when we want to assign these variable to this particular thing, that means it should hold number as well as it should hold the names also. That means when you want to assign number to these names, so is there any way in doing that? That means is there any way to mix match both these things? Yes. So for this we are going to use a data type called enum in case of System Verilog. And also one more important thing is enum is synthesizable in nature. So from this we can learn that we can use it both in RTL as well as System Verilog, in RTL code of System Verilog as well as in test bench code also. Okay, so this is about System Verilog enumeration. So in Verilog we can define the state. So basically, as I told you, this enum was developed in System Verilog. Now, if this enum is there any other way in order to assign the values, in order to assign names to the values, or else like that? Yes, there is a way in Verilog which we were called as parameters. So in parameters, when you are learning about parameters in Verilog, you would have know that, for example, in parameter, what you will be doing, for example, parameter, okay, you want to assign some light equal to 1. Okay, 1 is the value for light. Okay, and then dark, yes, dark value is 2. If you want to assign one value to the light, then what you can do, you will be using the parameter keyword. So the parameter will be using light value to 1. Okay, so whenever there comes light, then it will be assigning the value 1. Similarly, whenever there comes the dark, they will be assigning the value 2 to that particular dark. Okay, so this is how you used to do in Verilog. Now what is the disadvantage of this? Basically, when you are using a parameter, you can't rewrite it. Okay, if you want to rewrite it, you should use certain things in order to rewrite the parameter. Okay, you in order to override the parameter, you can't do it easily, but you should follow a certain method in order to override the parameter. And then the second thing is that if you want to assign a parameter individually, for example, if you want to assign in this way for some 10 variables, okay, for some 10 variables you want to assign 10 values, then how many parameters you should mention? Obviously 10 parameters you should mention. Is it or not? Or else if not 10 parameters, at least in one parameter you should write it a long length manner. So what happens if you will be writing it in like that? It won't be that easy to write, and also it won't be appealing for eyes. Whenever someone look at your code, it should be in a way, okay, they should understand at a single side that this is the thing that they are introduced, and these are the components that they are using, or these are the things that they are going to design in this particular code, or else like that they should get that idea in a single shot. Okay, but when you are using it in this manner, it is not that appealing. So that is why in system verilog we have introduced a data type called enum. Okay, right? So this is the syntax for enum, right? Enum, which is the keyword, okay, then values, okay, you will see what are these values and all, and then the variable name with a semicolon. So basically, why have we introduced this enum in system verilog is we will be using this enum in mostly at where we are designing a circuit which is using the finite state machines. Okay, I think you know about this finite state machines. If not, I'll be explaining that in this next sessions in the verilog sessions. Okay, I'll be uploading that. You first just wait for that. Maybe in this week only I'll be uploading the classes on finite state machines. Okay, so basically, when we are going to use the enum, we will be mostly using it in case of finite state machines. Okay, right? So let us see more detail about this, how we are going to use this enum. Right, if you see here, as I told you, this is the syntax like enum. Okay, these are the, this state is the variable name, and if you see here, this state can hold three values. What are those? Ideal, setup, and access. Similarly, enum bit, ideal 1 down to 0. Okay, what are these three states? That is ideal, setup, and access. In the same way, you are giving the certain values to that particular ideal. Okay, 6 is the value of ideal, setup value is 9, access value is 14. Okay, and then that is the state. Now if you see the above example, the enum state has three elements. Okay, now this state is the thing which is which can hold any of these three. Okay, ideal, setup, and access. If for example, if you here, if you see, you are assigning the value to this particular variables, sorry, elements, like ideal is can hold the value 6, setup is holding the value 9, access is holding the 14. That means whenever you are using a word access, then that means it is given the value of 14. Okay, so access is holding the value of 14. Okay, but if you see here in the starting these three things, you didn't give any values. So that means that it doesn't hold any value. No, no, it's not like that. So basically, if you are giving the values, it is holding that particular value, and if you are not giving the values, it will be incremented automatically. The first value will be given 0, and then with along with 0 it will be incremented. Now ideal state is given the value, is holding the value 0, setup element is holding the value 1, access element is holding the value 2. Clear? Okay, so this is how you'll be. So by default, the first enum gets the value 0, and the value is incremented for the other elements. Okay, this is how basically this is working. Okay, values can be manual. So you can either, if you not adding any values for this, then they will be automatically increased from 0 state. But if you wantedly assign the values, then also you can do it. Like now here the ideal is holding the value 6 but not 0, because you have wantedly assigned it to 6. Got my point? Yes, so note that the sum cannot start. If you are writing, for example, whenever you are writing the state, okay, the elements should always start with the alphabet but not with the number. Okay, this, if you are throwing it like this, it will show you an error. Got my point? If the value is only defined for the first element, the following is segments. See, what is the meaning of this? For example, if you see the first example here, the value of red is given 3. But for yellow and green, I didn't give any values. Now what happens? The red value will be 3. So, since the red value is the 3, the next value is increment. Since it is incremented here, so the value of yellow is 4, the value of green is 5. Okay, now the value of red is 4 and value of yellow is 9. So after 9 the value of green will be 10. Okay, so in this way, even though if you are giving only for one value, the next values also, the next elements also will be holding their incremented values. Okay, if you see here, this, if you see, this is an error. Why? Because you have given red as 2. Okay, and you didn't give any value to yellow, and you are giving value of green as 3. Now what happens? Red is 2, fine. Yellow will be, what is it? Since you didn't give any value, yellow will be 3. But again here green is also having 3. That means two elements are holding only one value. That is not correct. So if you are going to give it, how you should give green value should be 4 but not 3. Okay, but if you are giving 3 here, at least you should change it to 1. Now what happens? 1 is here, since red is 1, yellow is 2, green is 3, fine. But if you are giving it as 2 only, then it will show you as an error, because no two elements will be holding the same value. Every value should be individual to one another. And also, if you want these values to hold many elements, okay, so you should either give it in this way, like 1 down to 0. 0 down to 0 means you no need to give it, is it or not? At least 0 down to 0 means it can't hold any value. At least it should have minimum of 2 bits to hold. Got my point? So this is how basically the enum will be working. Okay, so there is one more advantage in case of enum. So in the starting, while we are discussing about data types, I have taught you that in data types are categorized into two types. So what are they? One is predefined, okay, another one is user defined, is it or not? So predefined means data types like logic, byte, etc. So these are the data types which are predefined. That means they are automatically inbuiltly defined. What you need to do is you should just call that predefined data type and you should use in your code. Okay, this is what the predefined means. User defined means you will be defining a particular data type. Okay, so there are certain data types in Verilog which can also use as a user defined data type. Okay, one among them is enum. Okay, there are many other things like class, okay, struct. Okay, these are certain data types in system Verilog which we can use as a data type also. Okay, which we can, these are certain data types which we can use as data type. Okay, based on our usage. So if you don't understand this also, if I'm explaining this with an example, you will understand it clearly, don't worry about that. So while you're writing the enum or where you're mentioning the enum, you should follow certain things. Okay, what is that? Enum data type is a user defined data type. That's what I told you. Among the user defined data types, another one is enum. So if you see here, enum is a user data type, which means that a new data type can be created using enum. Okay, why is it called a user defined data type? Because you are going to create another data type by using this particular enum data type. Okay, so that is why it is user defined. So that means I am the user. Okay, I am the user of this particular enum keyword. So I can create my own data type with my any name by using this enum data type. Got my point? That is the meaning of this. Okay, user defined data type and predefined data type. Okay, that means I'll give you an example for that so that you will be easily understanding. Okay, enum can be used as a data type only by using a typedef keyword. Now, if you want to create your own data type, you can do that with enum. But if you want to use enum for creating a data type, you should use a keyword called typedef. Right? So I'll give a small example for you so that you will be easily understanding. Now, okay, before talking about this, I'll just give a small example for you. For example, okay, I'm telling that in, okay, packet. Now what is happening? This packet is my variable. Is it or not? Yes, packet is my variable and int is my data type. Yes, clear? Similarly, string data. What is this here now? This string is my variable. Packet is the variable which could hold numbers, and since it is int data type, so data is a variable which could hold names since it is a string data type. Fine. Similarly, if you are talking about logic, logic y. Now what is happening? Y is a variable which can hold value, that means which can is a logic data type, that means it can be used as both rich or wire. Yes, so this is all the data types we have clearly learned in system verilog. Is it or not? Now comes the particular thing. If you see here, have you understood all of these things? Just keep this in mind. Now, how are we going to create our own data types? If you see here, int, string, logic, these are all predefined. That means they are already predefined, so we can't change anything in this. Okay, that means if we are using an int, you should use it as int. Okay, if you don't like, you can't change it as int1. If you are using int1 pkt, what will happen? It will throw you error because there is no int1 in your predefined library of system verilog. So if you want to use a int data type, you should use it only in the form of int. Similarly, if you want to use a string, you should use string, all in a small lowercase. Similarly, if you want to use a logic, you should use as logic. Okay, so since these are all predefined and you can't do any modifications in those particular data types. But when it comes to user defined data types, that means you are the user and you are defining it. So you can define it in any manner you like. Okay, clear? So how are we going to do it? See, as I told you, when you want to create a data type with enum, you should use a keyword type def. Okay, type def enum. Okay, good, bad. Okay, these are the elements, and pkt type. That means packet type. Okay, with an underscore. Right. Now, if you are using a type def with an enum, then that means you are creating the data type. Now, what is happening? This pkt pkt type is a data type here. Okay, this is just like int, string, logic. Okay, just like int, string, logic data types, this is also a data type. Okay, now pkt is a data type and pkta is the variable. Okay, got my point? Now, here if you see in int, pkt can hold values, numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Data can hold names. Okay, logic, it can be used to drive as well as hold the values. Okay, these are all having its own limitations. These are having its own considerations. Similarly, pkt is a variable which could hold good and bad elements. Clear? Yes, so this is how you will be defining the data type. If you are not clear, I'll be giving one more example so that it will be clear to you almost. Okay. So module TB, I am writing a program in order to create my own data type. So how am I going to do it? So module TB, okay, type def enum true false. This is my data type e true false. Okay, and now within the initial and begin, you are using this e true false. So if you see here, this e true false is not an enum, but it is a data type, just like your int, string, logic. Similarly, just like all these data types, this e true false is also data types and with a variable answer. Okay, now if you see here, this answer can hold two values. What are those two things? True, false. Okay, so this answer is can have either true or false values. Okay, now here answer equal to true, and when you want to display answer dot name, you will be declared as in this way, answer equal to true. In the similarly you can write it as answer equal to false, because it can hold either true or false. In the similar way, if you want, you can increase your number of elements also you have. So if you are increasing the elements, those many elements this can hold. Got my point? Yes. So this is how you will be using the enum data type. Okay, elements defined inside enum can be referenced directly. It will return the value that it holds. That means when you want to reference the elements, you can reference it. Reference means you can directly call that element, and the value that belongs to that element will be coming along with that value. Okay, clear? Yes. So this is how basically the thing is, right? So okay, elements having same name cannot be defined inside two different enums. That means, for example, if you are using this entire in one code only, okay, in one code only, you are using three different enums. Now, enum bit 2 down to 0, red, blue. Now, what happens? Red will be holding 0 and blue will be holding the value 1. And enum bit 2 down to 0, red, green. This will give you error, because you have already used this element named red here, and you can't use the same element red in the second thing. Okay, since you have already used that element, you shouldn't use that element, so this will throw you error. Okay, now if you see in here violet, green, this is fine because your elements are red and blue, and then violet and green, this is fine. But this will throw you error. Okay, clear? If the value for an element is non mentioned explicitly, it will automatically take the increment. This I already told you. If you are not mentioning any values, it will automatically be incrementing from 0 to 1, 2, 3, so on. Clear? Yes. So this is about enum, and in enum you are also having certain methods. Just like in arrays you are and queues you are having methods, in enums also you are having methods in order to call the elements within that particular enum. Okay, we'll be seeing that in the next session. So hope you are understand about this enum. If you are still having any doubts, you can comment me in, or either of in my LinkedIn or in the Telegram channel or in any social media handles that you are available with. Okay, so that is all. Thank